screaming every fucking time. Can't never be relaxed for my. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to Sistar Soul on the main radio. We will have a special guest today, Mr. 111Truth Searcher, who will be going over some very astounding information when it comes to the Aboriginal community. What I'm going to do, guys, while we wait on him, he said he'll be up in a few minutes, so we'll play a song or two while we wait for him to get started. And we'll be able to go over a bunch of this history stuff, a lot of things that we have been confused about when it comes to reality. So let's start here.
Who are you? You don't know. Don't tell me Negro. That's nothing. What were you before the white man named you a Negro? And where were you? And what did you have? What was yours? What language did you speak then? What was your name? It couldn't have been Smith or Jones or Bunch or Powell. That wasn't your name. They don't have those kind of names where you and I came from. No, what was your name?
Run it back. Run it back. Run it back. Run it back. We're waiting on Truth Searcher.
The truth about slavery, many refuse. I'm out the country, out their young blood is sweat. I'm never just that house that slavery built. I'ma speak on the facts since no one else will. Your name in capital letters is a corporate entity. Why you ain't suspect to intellectual property? James Marion Sims, father of gynecology, experiment on slave women that invent the C-section. Hundreds of babies died at birth, but they still support the medical system. It's flat as shit works. No cure for cancer, ALS, AIDS. Wait until a little late.
Being here in America doesn't make you an American. Being born here in America makes you an American. Made you American. You wouldn't need any
Queen's thrown in the house with that fire right there.
No, I'm not an American. I'm one of the 22 million black people who are the victims of Americanism. One of the 22 million black people who are the victims of democracy.
They came up with the plan to control and enslave man through revolution and war. Man, with a secret society they made. If you would make that way, unaware and deadly blind, the dumb downness of mankind. They are hiding in plain sight, running the show without a fight. 100 days slavery got people working day and night. Almighty God up in that sight, chasing it further into the light. If I work a little bit harder, one day I'll be alright. That's how the end the tax away. They with you late, they tax out. They tax our dreams. It takes us every time we think. It's really about control. Cause the dollar we need. For ransom, beat that sticks of hate and something we yeah.
This is American justice. This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. Democracy is hypocrisy. If democracy, then why are our people?
That was some fire, right? Queen's thrown in the building, guys. Shout out to that sister who be out the word exposing these pedophiles and perverts. This sister has an awesome channel. I want you guys to go over there and subscribe to the Queen's Throne on YouTube. Any of my listeners, please make sure you guys listen to this sister and support her. She's and the pedophiles, the rapists, all type of weird stuff that we don't really hear about. They don't do everything to let us know what's going on with our kids and our women. We don't have enough protection when it comes to the kids and the women, right? So I definitely support this sister. Last night she played this track, and I'm like, sis, I love it. I love it. So make sure you guys support her, and make sure you guys go check out her track. We're gonna play one more, get us in the mood right now. That song right now, guys, is under Queen's Throne. You can find it under her videos. It's called Modern Day Slavery, Cash Me Out, featuring Malcolm X, My Music. The true searcher in the building, just coming in with us. What's going on with you, brother?
Not much,
Thanks for
man.
joining us.
I'm trying to hurry up and get the hell up out of these mountains because my signal be in and out. That's why I was telling you to give me a few more minutes, so I can make sure I'm in some good range.
Sure,
So
sure, bro. We'll play another track or so. Take your time, bro.
yeah, it's good. I just wanted to tap in and let you know, man, I'm here.
Take your time. You need about so we longer too.
I'm, I'm almost up out of them. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Am I clear? Hello.
It's pretty clear. It's okay. Does it sound a little glitchy to you? We can give you a few more
It
minutes,
did.
brother. I'll play a couple of more songs while we wait on you.
All right, I thank you, sis. I appreciate it. I'm gonna mute
Yeah,
up just for a
he in a little
second.
glitch. All right. Sounds good. All right, guys. So we got 111 Truth Searcher in the building about to explode on some of this information, this knowledge. Y'all know this brother bring the truth all the time. So he must have been out with the family, making a little time for me. I asked him the last minute to come on and go over some of this information. He's been just exploding with some phenomenal stuff and like some just some things to make you think about and really the information you want to dig into. So we're gonna give him a few minutes. He's actually traveling, so we're gonna play another track for you. I know y'all like that first track by the Queen's Throne. She gave it all it needed to get right now. Let's get one from Trey Ali. This is the Black Code by our brother Trey Ali.
Yeah, rhyme so dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, they go in them townhomes. What's a native to a native? He $5 though if he not melanated. Paying on the savior. Sitting in prayers, be texting back on vacation. Yeah, God's children. Give up for how God feeling. They put on his divine image. It's you with God and Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boat. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turn on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned, and now we let this turn to something. Reincarnation of angels, fresh up out the oven. It's the message to the black man. It's the message to the black man. It's the message to the message to the black. Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the court, and bitch we bulletproof. This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. You wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. If stop to the bitches ain't important. You ain't saying you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? I find it hard to trust the pastor who read the side with the master who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured about. Wait on God, it's never our vernacular. They get paid to praise by the dollar long as they keeping us stagnant. And niggas think they woke, huh? Like you can change a whole world through a vote, huh? Like slave masters willing to let their slave go, huh? That slave master was probably your king. History in reverse. A black king strategy. When blacks were your majesty, they always hide your pyramids but point to where the castles be. Aristocracies with your last name patent accurately. Yeah. And I ain't even tell half the shit. Like I ain't even tell a quarter of the shit. I'm just getting started. Y'all niggas rap about. I'm busting guns, all this weird shit. I'm trying to get my people back, nigga.
Listen, y'all know that's some flame, right? We got some good stuff going on when it comes to Aboriginal music. We have some things that are kind of opening the mind when it comes to listening to the vibrations and the frequencies of these sounds. These are the things our ancestors have been doing for. I mean, this is like we have sounds and frequencies and music that has hit the melanin tone for ages, and it is a part of our culture, right? So what I'm gonna do, one more song for you guys. Make sure, Truth, you are you good, brother? We got one more. We're gonna play real quick, or you want a few more minutes, brother? I want to make sure you got a good
I should be good,
space
right? After that, I should be in good clearing
in
signal.
a good
I'm
area right
pushing
now,
at the
guys. So
end
let's
of it.
see what we're gonna. All right, bro. We're gonna play one more for you guys before we get started, and then we'll have an intro for the brother to bring him in. He's got a couple of favorite tunes. Y'all know Truth be bringing some nice little music when he be doing his intro. So what we're gonna do is play one more. Let me go to my playlist for you guys and play one of my favorites. And let's see. Yeah, let's do this. Let's talk about some Atlanta stuff. We're gonna play Huey P. Nuisance. Y'all know Wizard. Let's get to it.
Yes, Lord. Hear me, Lord. Rasta. Bruce Lee said be like water. Move like water. Vibrate. Information. Mermaids. Swim. Fish we from Atlantic. Fish I'm from Atlantis. Fish is in the Atlantic. Deep as the Atlantic. I tried all in my head is like a shark's fin. Yes, a big dish out in the Atlantic. Fishes in Atlantis. The mystic fishes from Atlantis. Deep as the Atlantic. I tried to ride the wave, but up my big Titanic. Off in the jaws. Sharks fin. Yeah, I'm like the cool water well. I met Manuel. Way deep down in the bottom of oceans, I swam well. I met Willie Well on the real. He wrote the great old well, I crimson and backfish for some dolphin deal. Dolphin similar to presidents and coffins. Bill Clinton gave niggas 3 strikes for slinging drug fucking bill. That's what this net does. Bite the bait, the Jada hook that kill. The Chris Cole in the skill, let him burn them up. Fish for real. That's fish fillet. Piranha bite, that's my public aquarium. Look, my eggs will lay. And waking up on Aquarius. Pisces notice my nose parted the water like Moses. And my ring is charted regardless like Joseph for Joseph. Push the button, detonate nuclear bombs, explosive. Flowing like a lotus in motion. Like when I'm smoking, sound like I'm spoken within them broken dialect. My ancient architect and shock shirt, man. Fish from Atlantic, fish I'm from Atlantis. Fish is in Atlantic, deep as the Atlantic. I tried to ride the wave, but up my big Titanic. All in their jaws, my head is like a shark's fin. Yes, a big dish out in the Atlantic. Fishes and the mystic fishes from Atlantis, deep as the Atlantic. I tried to ride the wave, but up big Titanic. All in their jaws, my head is like a shark's fin. Him in kudos and cooties, ooh, you gotta eat nasty. Bastardize our language, you engage with mega force, the metaphors, the metaphors for dinner, and since you the pick of the litter look like a tasty treat. Cause this bitch is in the lens, it's picture in the catfish in the mantis. Iodine, open lots of my heart. Get a big dish out in the Atlantic, fishes in Atlantis. The fishes from Atlantis, deep as the Atlantic. I tried to ride the wave, but up my big Titanic. Off in the jaws, my head is like a shark's fin. Hear me?
All right, guys, we're about to get going. We have 111 Truth Searcher in the building. Let's get one going for the brother before he get in here real quick.
Light that bitch up, right? Yeah, truth can't be told, it gotta be realized.
The truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Yeah, slavery was a long year. On our land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much, they scared of us. Children of the feeling, y'all don't compare to us, pale area. Talking about America, pale faced people, this ain't your area. Even if the playing field, bitch, I'm burned. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need spurn. You got what privilege, so you looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave. Me here, you ain't got I just say you but not indigenous. 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans, naturalized citizens, made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492, we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, white got offended. Come listen, mistake, I don't speak truth, that's alright. First place in 19 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted, it come from us, do your research. The teacher, the new kick out boys coming out the speaker. Cut off trees that have made us weaker. Really, they foreigner, the shit gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aboriginal, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized like now black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up, everybody, don't be no sheep. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privileges real, they working in management. Low down, dirty, but they call it. You to think they above us, all white time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Been lied to, I got built up bigger. Built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, can you do me that favor? Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is danger. Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read what we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the it's like a penny, one at our hand, and you called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats there together, pay attention. We got ancestors, but the papers is missing. Kings and queens, you can't remember. Just like hey. You don't want that illness. George Washington is a nice president, look it up. United States only 10 square black. White people really authorities, look it up. Poor authorities, look it up. You want me to say stop governing me? Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep why Trayvon killer still walking around free? Made this song for the truth, don't hit it. History was told in reverse, I stated. Still oppressed, somebody gotta say it. I'm taking out of school, that's the reason I made it. History is his story. History is his story. History is his story. History is my story. History is his story. Probably ain't your story. History is his story.
Fire, fire, fire. His story, it's not our story, right? We need to know that, guys. That's why I'm bringing you guys a lot of this original information. We got to know about tracing back to our roots. Make sure you guys are tuned into 111 Truth Searcher via YouTube. You guys can find them on the YouTube platform. And we have them in the building right now. It's a good space right now, brother, to get started.
Peace, man. Salute to everybody that's tapped in, man. Thank you, Sistar Soul, for reaching out to me. I'm grateful that you even wanted to do an interview with me. So I appreciate you for that. And I'm just ready to answer any questions and just give a brief insight of what this whole thing is really about. It's about your family, your lineage, and about your true story about your own personal family. So, I expect to hopefully be able to answer any questions that come the way that any questions that anyone might have, I'm prepared to answer it. And just give a little insight to hopefully spark up some minds to get people, to be more in tune about their family history.
Yes, brother. Thanks so much. Let's get started with some things, right? A lot of my audience, brother, they're not familiar with YouTube. Now, when I came over into YouTube last year, I am the one that came a lot more aware of the Aboriginal information, knowing that I was Aboriginal because it was a part of my history and my roots from my grandmother. But just knowing that, not knowing the I guess the depth of it and knowing the things that certain grounding or standing right now, why we're caught up in so much of manipulation and lies, and just like that just went off talking about history, how the history is actually changed around, and we're kind of taught things to spellbind, have us in a brainwashed state to believe the stories that are implanted on us versus the real truth. So I want people to kind of understand the basis. Can you kind of give us real briefly at first, just to start off, the difference between being an Aboriginal and when you say a person, when they say a Native American or an Indian, because we had this big piping a couple of years back, and they were like the indigenous, the Indian. Can you kind of just at least distinguish that for us first before we get started, sir?
Yeah, no problem. Just give me 30 seconds, real quick, 30 seconds, and I'll get right into that.
Sure, sure. Yes, guys. So we are going to get this brother. Definitely is a little busy, but he's got some information for us. He's
Yeah,
on.
I'm.
You guys go to .com. If you go into this particular video, you'll be able to see his page and click right on it and subscribe and get more in tune information. Go right ahead, brother.
Okay, just to give a brief starter, right? Majority of our people that already, we done heard this story in our family plenty of times. Oh, we got some Indian in our family. This ancestors was Indian, that ancestor was Indian, and we never understood the importance and the true history about that, right? Because for the most part, a lot of the history that we accepted as our family going through have been given to us by other people. So what's starting to find out is that people are starting to really search their family and the history that has been placed upon us as I'll just say Black Americans for the most part, right? Just so I don't get nobody lost in translation with titles and words. So we'll just say Black Americans. All growing up, through school and everything, through movies and everything, they have taught us that, we start from slaves. That's all we ever was. That's the reason how we got into America, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we also have this family story about these Indians in our family. So, we're thinking that when we hear that the Native Americans that we see today, that somehow we have them in our family. And what we're starting to find out is that's not necessarily the case. And also, that Indian in your family is pretty much your family. So as we go over these records, genealogical records, we're starting to see that a lot of us is not finding an African in our family whatsoever. So now the question is, well, damn, who are we? Well, it's exactly what your grandmother, your other elders done told you growing up. You are the Indian. You feel me? When you get into this historical evidence, you're starting to see um, a lot of these people, whether it be the Bonk Park murals and with the Mayans, the Olmecs, but also into the documented literature of who these conquistadors was running into as they was traversing these lands. And the description is clearly
Mm-hmm.
describing us. So right now, we're still stuck in that narrative that's been placed in our head that, you know, that can't be us. But in actuality, it is you. And it's a reason why they don't want you to know who you is, because it all ties back down into heritage. What is the heritage? The heritage is the land. America is the most powerful and richest nation on the world. But the descendants of the true Americans is not reaping a dime or a benefit from this shit. And that's the whole point of the
Mm-hmm.
misclassification and the manipulation in your mind. It's all about commerce. It's all about these people wanting to do what they want on our land and make all this business, but don't want to pay the landlords. So they have done a number of
Mm-hmm.
tricks up on us. They just sent people in that look like us, that's been part of the bullshit. Uh, it's been hella pushback about it, but at the end of the day, you can't deny the evidence. So before anybody, hearing what I'm saying, I know this might sound new and it might ruffle some people because we have been taught this thing and been emotionally attached to like roots, which has, that guy was sued for plagiarizing that. That was based off a fictitious book called The African. That wasn't even a real story, but they pushed that up on us.
Mm.
They used the music industry when rappers back in the day was conscious. Everything was Black Power, uh, Africa, unks, things of this nature. But at the same time,
Right, right, right.
we claiming things that if it came down to it, can you really prove that you descend from these people? And the answer is, for the most part, no. Even right now, they done got everybody hooked on with the
Right.
unks and, the Black Power and the Egyptians and everything. But then they tell you to go take a DNA test and then take you right to West Africa. That's not Egyptian at all. That's a whole different area of Africa. All of Africa is not the same. They're divided on tribalism. They don't even claim to be the same, but
Right.
they have tricked us to take on the title of all of Africa. And it's time, the gig is up. And like I always tell people, go study your family. Your family history is going to tell you exactly where you belong in this history. If you find that African in your family, then yes, you are African. You feel me? But if you don't, you can't still force yourself to be African. You got to accept what the evidence is being presented. So the main thing that we really focus on, like we do the history stuff
Mm.
as well to debunk the narratives that they've been pushing out. That's the main reason why we get into that information. But the most important thing that, me, myself, and people that I deal with, we tell people to study their family without a narrative. Don't go in with a narrative of the slave trade or being African. Don't even go in it with a narrative of being an Indian, Aboriginal, or whatever title you want to give it. Go in there with open mind and let the evidence tell the story for you. So these are the key tools to
Yes.
finding out who you are, because as a whole, we have been told who we are by people that we also claim that we should not trust. So how did we accept this narrative? You feel me? Yes, you would see people looking like us pushing this information. Why? Because they went into a school and we all had this narrative, and this is the studies that they dug in, right? So just because someone has dark skin color like you doesn't make you the same people. All skin folks ain't kin folks. And that doesn't make them your enemy either as well. Just because y'all are
Mm.
not kin folks. It doesn't make them your
Mm.
enemy. But at the end of the day, you need to claim who your family is and find out who your family is. Because if you're calling out to the ancestors, you want to make sure that you're calling to your ancestors, not some ancestors that you've been taught
That's
is
right.
your ancestors. And that's why a lot of us have a lot of these curses and monkeys on our back, and we wondering why. So, we're just here to let them know, hey, the gig is up. The descendants of the ancient ones is really here. You find all the high sciences in here in America.
That's
The
right.
astrology, the cosmo teachings, and everything, you find it right here in America. Um, the letter zero, the number zero. Zero is the base of building on anything. That has been credited to the Olmecs and the Mayans. Multiplying to be able to get to these equation faster have been credited to the Mayans as well. Uh, so it's so much information about America that they're deliberately not teaching you, because you're going to find out who you truly are, and you're going to understand what that term means when we run around and say that we are the gods. That is true, but you need to know why are you the god and where you descend from. And I'm gonna mute up right there. I tried to give as much as I can in the short term. It's a lot of information. So right now I'm gonna just mute up, and I'm gonna let
Yes,
the
yes.
sister just ask me some questions, and I'm gonna try to hit them one on one. And man, we'll get into some particular details about this information.
Yes, yes. On that, right? I want people to get this because it's like I don't think they really understand the how can I say the depth of the trickery or the sorcery or techniques that have been used against us when it comes to the history, the foundations of setting things down for us in our mind, mental stagnation, being stagnant because we are actually being caught up in our genes. Being original people of this land, we are literally parts of this entire universe and this earth. It's a spiritual thing. So there's a battle when it comes to that thing. When people hear that, they go to thinking, oh, there's a religion or this. That has nothing to do with us being a particular being to this earth. Us being very natural and organic. It's like an organic versus there's GMO things that are going on. And with enforcing the GMO person from the original state and out of the spiritual being that we are, which is the true self, obviously. I don't want to get too much in that because I know we're going to stay on the Aboriginal information, but taking us from the original state, going into the physical, different manipulations of that. There are so many different things that have happened over time that have been happening continuously, and they seem to us as a new thing, the technology, the cloning, things of that nature. When I think about these things, and I think about like the nations being built, brother, I don't know, maybe you can give me a little bit of your insight into this. The nations, and we think about how taking the natural man away and bringing more of the GMO persons. Will say I don't want to get into it, but there are natural beings and there are unnatural beings, right, to this planet and to this earth. So the ones that are not the originals or aboriginal to the planet or to the earth in itself, these are the ones that are actually transgressions on us by the manipulation of using the religion, the manipulation of food, air, all these things against us. So when it comes to that, brother, there's a lot against the aboriginal being, and I know that a lot of it is a spiritual battle. So when it comes to that, how do you think that fares into all of these things as far as trying to transmute information to think to actually put things into a different perspective, seeing everything into his story versus the her story. When we look at the difference in what's actually going on, what's happening, and did happen in the past, how that's affecting us. I know a lot, brother, but can you give me any insight on those things real quick? I'm trying to, put a gist to it, but there's a lot going on with it. And I want people to understand that there have been transgressions that have been, going on for a long time. And so that they can get that this isn't something you're just talking about and had battles for a long, long time. Can you give me your perspective when it comes to that?
Yeah. The truth of the matter is that we have gave so much to this world and brought a lot of people up out of dark places. The Europeans they self was pretty much on their last leg and dying off before they seek refuge over here, right? A lot of the things that happened up over here was not done through brute force. You just gotta understand, right? Can 600 people come take on thousands of people at one time with muskets? Do you know how long it takes to load up a musket? By the time they fire one shot and start the reload, you got thousands of arrows in your ass. Um, so they've been playing games on us because they think we stupid, right? And they want to take claim to all our shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are everything that we have been taught. We are the gods. We are the givers of the world. You know, when you look at even in Africa, uh, you have 650 indigenous food up in that region that come from here. Um, you know, when it comes to science, astrology, the cosmos, a lot of its origins come right back to here. You see the connection in the over in Hindustan and shit with the Nagas, you know, descendants of the Maya Nagas. You feel me? Um, it's definitely a spiritual battle as well too. It's physical and spiritual. You know, a lot of this shit is preying on our mental, and the manipulation is to keep your spirit off balance, so that you can never manifest it in the physical. And that's why we basically been taught to kick ourselves down and do more harm to ourselves. And this is what really been going on. You know, a lot of the fights that got us to the point where we at was self-inflicted wounds with foreign people and shit
Mm-hmm.
coming over as our friends and preying on our insecurities amongst each other. Um, but at the end of the day, you know, we're starting to
When
wake
do you?
up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, what you just gonna say?
I know it's a little delayed, brother. It's my internet. I apologize for that. Yeah, I was gonna say on that. Can you put it into people's minds around the time that this started, brother? Or we hear a lot of stories about the wars of the 1600s. We know that we hear that particular races of people that are here now have only been around for a very short time. So we're talking about a recent people. So when we look at a lot of the historical facts and these things that they tell us, that kind of bring in into our mind what actually happened. When we look at the truth of other matters, it shows something different. So can you kind of talk a little bit about that? And like, when do you think this great switch, I would call it the great switch, occurred when these things
What?
started, changing over?
Yeah, it was over a period of time, you know, from the point of initial contact. And one thing people got to remember is too, when you hear the term European, that don't automatically associate white people, right? Shout out to the Moors,
Mm-hmm.
because the Moors brought a lot of that to the forefront of actual documentation showing and artwork, ain't old artwork that's showing that a lot of people that we think was white then was actually would be considered a melanated person. All skin folks ain't kin folks. So
Mm.
when you start looking at the history of the so-called white
Yes.
people, you start to see that a lot of them came over here pretty much as slaves. Now they like to throw a different title on it and call it indentured servitude. But when you start getting into the actual documentation, the laws that was passed, the treatment that was done on these indentured servants, pretty much it's the same damn story as slavery. So a lot of scholars are all aware of that the term slave, indentured servant, apprentice, and laborer was synonymous with each other. It was a term for laborers, right? We also starting to find out that a lot of our people owned a
Right.
lot of these laborers. When you look into the Haitian Revolution, they never speak about the 2,000 Polarks that was working the fields that actually fought on the side of Toussaint and them
Mm.
and was allowed to stay in Haiti. They never speak on that shit. The Bacon Rebellion. You know, all historians then said it that the Bacon Rebellion was the cornerstone of the Revolutionary War for Independence. So if the Bacon Rebellion was the cornerstone reason for this war for independence, then what was the Bacon Rebellion? A bunch of former disgruntled and servant, indentured servants, and also indentured servants that were still on the fields, rose up, and this was the Bacon Rebellion. So this was resurrection of white slaves. So if this resurrection was the cornerstone of the
Mhm.
independence, then by default, you
Wait,
have to
hold on,
call the
brother.
independent.
Hold on, brother. I don't want to cut your wisdom. I don't want to cut your wisdom, but just for our audience who have never heard this information before, did you just say white slaves?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Comes to
And when
that,
you
some people won't believe that. Can you tell us, elaborate a little bit on that, brother, a little bit about how this actually effect, and knowing that this isn't something that comes from our history particularly. Do you mind going into that?
Yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, they was being snatched up and put in slavery and indentured servitude, not just only in Americas, but in Africa as well. Christian slaves, Muslim masters. Look, I advise people to read that book. It will
Mm.
show you from between the 1500s and the 1800s, you had these North Africans who was anonymous regions connected back to the Ottoman Empire, was constantly attacking the shores of Europe to the point that a lot of coastal line points of Europe was fucking deserted. As a matter of fact, one story speak about them coming into Ireland at the dead of night, and at the moment of having a man in front of every house door, they sent out a signal that kicked in every door in a town called Baltimore, Ireland, and snatched up everyone, men, women, and children. Some was killed, the rest of them was snatched up and shipped from Ireland into Northern Africa, into Algeria, to be specific about it.
Mm.
So it's constant information about this happened for over 300 years of their ships being attacked. As a matter of fact, this the whole purpose of them selling across the Atlantic was due to the fact that the Ottomans cut off the routes between the Asians and the Europeans and shit. So not only was they being attacked by war on the water by
Mm.
the North Africans, but also they was being attacked on land from Eastern and Central Europe by the Ottomans at the same time. In that book, it gives you um, ample examples of not only where these people was taken from, but where they was actually located at, because a lot of Jesuits was allowed to go in there to try to purchase their freedom, to redeem them, as they say. Uh, all historians dealing with the 13 colonies is fully aware that from the 1600s to the 1700s, um, majority, if not all, people sent to work the fields was supplied by poor white Europeans. So that's 100 years straight right there. Um, you do also see a lot of
And these
Indian.
were the.
You say what?
If you guys want to check that out.
No, it just want the Irish and the
I was
Scottish.
saying
Like, no,
these were the Slavic people, correct, brother? They want to.
well, yeah, they was being bought in from a lot of regions. You feel me? But mostly Britain. A lot of them was coming from the UK and Scotland. Um, within Ireland, but also other locations as well too. The Germatics, they was being snatched up and bought in as well, and they was coming, as slaves pretty much. Even though they tell you now it's indentured, we gotta understand that all of this whole understanding of slavery was a social reconstruct based off of a social racial construct that they did after the Civil War. So Benjamin Franklin was a slave. A lot of people
Okay.
don't know that. A wealthy politician in Philadelphia bought his freedom from his own brother. So this is something that they've been doing to each other for a long period of time. Um, just to touch on that
Mm.
part right there.
No respect
So
even for their own family.
no, not at all. Benjamin Franklin's
Mm-hmm.
father first tried to sell him to his uncle, but something went wrong and he was sent back. And then his father gave him to his brother. Now his brother ended up getting in trouble a little later on in life, where he eventually handed over the printing press company that he had under his brother name, but they had a hidden contract that was basically stating that he was still indebted and in servitude to his brother. So Benjamin Franklin tricked his brother with knowing that he wouldn't bring that out because that would put him in a lot of trouble because that was illegal. He ran away to Philadelphia. Now his
Mhm.
brother found out that he was there, and when his brother found out, a politician in Philadelphia took a liking to Benjamin Franklin so much that not only did he sought and spoke up for his freedom from his brother up out of that contract, but he also paid for it. It's in the Benjamin Franklin memoirs. All you gotta do is just know what you're reading. You know, instead of saying slave, they're saying words like apprentice. But when you listen to some of the things that he
Mhm.
went through with his brother, how his brother didn't like no smart apprentice. You know how they say they don't like no smart slave. You feel me? He used to have to sneak and read. He
Right,
couldn't
right.
read in the open. So when you start to paying attention to what's going on, the pain it paints itself right then and there. You feel me? Um, and it
Well,
just
what do
goes
you
on and on.
real quick, brother, on that with the Benjamin oh, I'm sorry. When it comes to Benjamin Franklin and we think about I'm so I cannot even remember her name. I don't know why. Hattie Mae, I believe her name was the richest woman, the one that they basically started her gold. So sorry, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but Miss Pleasant, Mary Ellen Pleasant. I'm sorry, I was thinking about somebody else. So Mary Ellen Pleasant, her living with Benjamin Franklin and the wife, and how they actually like took a lot of control of things with her because she didn't have like any children, and the wife tried to steal her monies when Benjamin Franklin died, and all of this led me to think like a lot of these people may could he have been her slave or indentured slave at the time? And they said that he was a close friend and she lived with him to kind of like, I guess, get this place in society of him being white. I don't know, a lot of confusion when it comes to that. What do you know about that, brother?
I mean that is definitely true. Man, it's a lot of this
That's
writing shit is a sleight of hand. And that's why I tell people, man, you might have to read some shit at least 4 times to fully understand and grasp the full contents of what you're reading. And you gotta ask questions as you're reading it. You know, really pay attention to what you're reading because something's not going some shit is just not going to make sense because it don't sound right for the time period. Um, and the brother AP, he went
right.
heavy on the white slavery thing, man. Shout out to Aboriginal Power. If your people don't know who that is, please go subscribe to the brother. It's called Aboriginal Power. He deal with a lot of these bills as well too. Uh, you feel me? My main focus of studies right now is with the genetics. Because I feel like I done brought forth enough information, like not
Yes,
only
yes.
with the laws, like people got to ask themselves the question, right? If we all were slaves, then how did the slaves
Mm-hmm.
eventually become some of the largest land? For fuck some, we was the largest landowners in the most fertile regions of the United States, which would be the Southeast. How did the fuck did the slaves come out of slave
Mm-hmm.
and became the largest landowners when we know they never gave us 40 acres and a mule? We know that shit. So, and we know that to be a fact
Period.
that almost every town and city in the South, it was highly populated by our people. We rank in the high 90s, a lot of times 96 to 99% of the town's population. We also owned a lot of that land. If we were supposed to be slaves and all of this shit, how did that happen? You feel me? That's a big problem in a narrative. It
Exactly.
truly is. Because on top of that, they say when we came out of slavery, Jim Crow beat us the fuck down. So how did we get all that? You feel me?
Mm.
Those are questions that people need to start asking, and they need to start going to look to check on that shit. You know, me myself personally, like I say, man, do your genealogy. It's gonna tell you who your family is and shit. You know, man, you need to go talk to your family, find out about your family, get the names, where they was at, as many dates as possible, and go search that shit. That's it. You know, don't let nobody tell
Yeah.
you some other shit. And another key thing is too, don't get fooled by the term Negro or color. Because they have you thinking that Negro mean African, but I can show you a plethora of documentation showing that they was constantly on the regular calling Indians and Negroes. As a matter of fact,
Facts.
the name on the maps for America was called Negro de Terra, the Negroes of the land. Why would they be calling this country Negro de Terra? The Brazilian Indians was called Negroes and put in slave
Hmm.
by the Portuguese and the Dutch for almost damn near 250 years, up until the point that New Spain had to pass a law telling them to stop that shit. But you done had over 200 years of these people having that done to them. So over so long of a time, if they're constantly being classified as Negro and Negro and Negro, how can you take them back to the Indian when they already been told that they just Negroes? And you'd already bought some other people in place that now you're calling the Indians.
That's right.
So you know, it's a lot of problems with that shit. Uh, you know, it's hella evidence showing that for almost 300 years that it was a trade going on in the Pacific, where you had them bringing a bunch of people from Southeast Asia
Mm.
and the Indian subcontinent, which would be India today, uh, and bringing these people up over here,
That's
and it was
right.
classified as Chinos. But then New Spain passed a law that took them from Chino to Indians. But they're in America now. But they're
Mm.
classified as Indians, even though these people are not even from here. This is the main reason why the Indian that they show you on TV today and everything, all are found in the West Coast, Central America, and South America. You don't find them coming into the central and eastern part of the United States. You don't find them in the islands. You barely find them in the eastern parts of South America. But even where you find them at, we still dominate them. You feel me? So that's a big problem. And all the Indians that's
So
coming
that all that
east
mix,
of the Mississippi
all
River,
that.
they're looking like white people. So when did the
Mm.
white man become the Indian? My bad. I'm sorry. What you saying?
Flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. No, I was gonna say when you said that, that just took me to how I be thinking about the cloning and the incubator babies and the test tube babies and the all of these things that have been they talk about these stories when people say, oh, the Bible is this or is that, you don't know what to believe, what's this or what's that, but a lot of those facts in there information, right? Even when it comes to the flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, that's kind of talking about the cloning aspect. People want to look at it in a certain way. When we think about, coming into the flesh and then being of the spirit or the original person or the original being, an original man that is like the spirit and flesh, and then there's flesh that doesn't have spirit, right? Because in order to have a spirit, you have to come through the mother's womb, right? That black portal where there's all the life, right? That gives the. If you come through that womb, it would be flesh of the flesh, or in the image of a God body, right? But it would not be a soul. It would be a soul. So these creatures that would have been formula, the ones they used on Coney Island when they had the incubator babies, they were making it. People could just go purchase a baby. The same doing now, right? It's kind of the same aspect where they're creating these beings because they're not able to really procreate like we are being a natural being. What do you think about that, brother?
Well, that's because a lot of these people with genetics is still shaping itself up. These are coherent people.
Mhm.
You feel me? And you can tell they have a lot of genetic problems. They have a lot of rare diseases and shit. And it's due to the fact of their genetic code. So their genetic
Yeah.
coding is still evolving to shape up properly and get stronger. But the original, the duplicate can never be strong as the original. So it's always gonna be complication and shit.
That's
A
right.
lot of people like to play this "we are the world" shit, and we ain't. Just to keep it honest, and that doesn't mean that it's hate for anybody else or nothing. No, we just dealing with true evidence and shit. You feel me? Um,
Yes.
we're gonna be fine genetically. Everything that bothers us is all man-made. They're constantly trying to make shit to fuck us up. But it's hard because a lot of us have natural immunity. Our body was built to sustain whatever is thrown at us. But then
Yes.
it's just certain things that will be thrown at us that our body can't handle because we're tainting our body and shit as we speak. That's the whole reason why, man, they dig into uh understanding cell structures and DNA so they can know how to attack your shit. Now they not gonna do it in a point where it's just all out drop. It's like,
Exactly.
nah, because that's gonna cause a fucking problem. But they gotta do it in a way where it slowly kill, but also prey on your mind and your will to fucking stand up. Look at all the shit that we should have been burnt this bitch down for, and we just ain't did it. That is something that is preying on the spirit and
About it.
preying on the mind.
Talk about it.
Uh, you know, and it is a spiritual battle out here. Man, the spirit is in your mind, man. Your spirit talks to you. So they're attacking your mind. And in the process of them attacking your mind, they're attacking your spirit because you going against the grain. He who control the images control the minds of the people and shit. That's the whole point. And as you can see, we're still the most mimicked people worldwide. These people been mimicking us. I can't even be mad at them. Who wouldn't want to be a god? You feel me? I
I was
want to be
gonna
like a
say
god,
that. Who don't want to be like this?
right? Who
That.
wouldn't want to be like us? Man, we we
That's so
we
right,
are the
brother.
innovators of everything. You feel me? Um, I mean, just look in America. Man, we got thousands of pyramids. As a matter of fact, they just uncovered like 500 deep in the fucking jungles with sonar radar that ain't even been touched. They destroyed a lot of our shit here in North America.
You can imagine.
You feel me? These mounds weren't just hills and shit like that, man. These was building structures, earthwork. Man, you got to have a high understanding of science and mathematics to be able to build shit like this. Because if you didn't, you would see this shit all over everywhere, and you don't. A lot of our shit is hidden up under these museums and up in these archives because they can't bring it out because it's going to tell the true story. At the end of the day, man, we are the true keepers of the ancient knowledge and shit. And now we don't even know the ancient knowledge, but we done gave everything to everybody for free. And they done gave it back to us in a way that they want to put it. It still
Yeah.
play today. Look at the clothes you wear. Why do they make these clothes like that? Why? Because they know that you're going to buy it. But how do they know that you're going to buy it? They studying your style. The same thing with music. They study you, they steal your shit, and then they resell it back to you because at the end of the day, you're going to resonate with it because it come from you. I call that shit the triple cross. So man, the shit run hella deep. Man, it's so much information out there that it
Yes.
would be hard to try to paint the true picture, just in this interview right here. Man, this shit takes time and study
Yeah.
and going in a chronological order and
Yes.
not time traveling. You can't time travel with this information either. You gotta go in chronological order. Like me myself personally, I deal with point of contact into present, and I go step by step. I don't like to go past point of contact because the understanding of past a point of contact has been manipulated so much that a lot of that shit is still radical. Even though it's some truth in it, it's still open up for debate because so much manipulation that
Yeah.
happened about that. Now, when it comes to point of contact until now, this is all commerce area. It's hella documentation. You know, like I say, I grew up in Mississippi. I never seen no motherfucker out there that looked like that. You know, we don't see those type of
Wow.
people. You know, even with the known Indians out there. You know, so Aboriginal, Indian, Indigenous, whatever you want to call it. You know, we dealing with modern terms. We understand what that means because we'll never really truly know what our people called ourselves. And honestly, I think that type of shit was feeble and beneath them. They didn't even deal with that type of shit. They was just living. But now we in a situation where we have to deal with this shit because niggas is trying to manipulate us with this type of shit. So we pretty much have no choice. But it's time for us to start painting our own narrative and stop letting other people give the
Right.
narrative to us.
Yes, yes. 1 second, brother. So, if anyone wants to, you're going to be joining us again, and we'll be able to go over into a little bit more depth into this information with my audience. But if they want to reach out to you in the meantime, brother, what's the best place to reach you?
The best place to reach me is on my YouTube channel. 111 Truth Searcher. And I have a plethora of
All
videos on
right,
there,
and that is
right?
the number one, guys.
You feel me? Yeah, the number ones.
Yes, he definitely does.
One
He
is
definitely does.
yeah, so the best bet is to comment under one of my videos. You feel me? I would like for you to watch the video, and then that way when you got questions, I can be able to answer it properly, right? Um, you know,
Yes.
minus my last show, all of my videos is all information. You know, we had to address some shit. So my last show was just pretty much addressing some nonsense, but everything else is all information. Don't pay attention to how long the video is. All of the information is at the beginning of my videos.
Mhm.
So within the
Yes.
first hour to at most 3 hours is dealing with nothing but information on the topic of the title. And but you might see it say like 8 hours or 6 hours. That all just went over. And you know how that is with our people and shit, man. We get to chopping it up, man. For you know it, man, time been passed. But all the information is at the
Can't help
video.
it.
So if you see a video saying like 8 hours and shit like that,
All right.
don't get discouraged. You could just watch the beginning and get all the information.
Yes. 1 second, brother. Yes, yes, definitely, definitely, definitely. He has quite a bit of information, guys. 111 Truth Searcher. That's number one. There's three ones. Truth Searcher on YouTube. And as he said, if you guys respond or comment, he'll be able to get back to you with any answers. And just stay tuned into him by subscribing, of course, and being able to stay in tune with this information. He's discovered some things that we may get into next time he visits with us. I'm not really sure, but hey, make sure you guys are tuning in to Sistar Souls Talk About It segment on the main radio each and every Sunday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. It was a pleasure, and I will see you guys Wednesday. Have a great one. Peace. So, brother, appreciate that, brother. So, yes, so when it comes to that truth, I didn't want to cut you off, brother, but I in that over there. I know you were out and about, but if you have minutes, we can continue on. I just had to take care of that real quick.
Nah, that's fine. I'm not tripping on that.
Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Can
I'm
you hear
sorry.
me?
Yes, thanks so much. So yeah, we definitely have to do this to part two, brother, because that was great. It was definitely good for a person that is not privy to the information. So when coming into this anew, it's like they don't really get it. They don't understand. They're like, I've heard about this Aboriginal stuff, or I've heard Indigenous, Native America. So information. It helps to be able to clarify a lot of this information. So I really, really appreciate it through for us. Did you want to open the panel up so that we could possibly, see if anybody else wanted to come up and get into a conversation? Did you have enough
Yeah,
time,
that's
or how you
that's
feeling about
cool.
that, brother?
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not tripping. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm finna pop on my laptop so I can charge up my phone. So I'm gonna drop right now, but I'm finna come right back up. I'm just finna
Oh, great.
switch over to my laptop so that I can be able to charge up my phone for a little minute. And like, yeah, if you want to open it up for anybody, I'm more I could definitely stick around for a little second and
All right, brother. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead and
answer
share
some
the link, guys.
questions
I'm
and
going to put
stuff.
the link out there. Definitely, definitely appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Yeah, we will. Let's get this, guys. I'm dropping the link. Anybody want to come up? Come on up and join the conversation. We want to get into it, or if you want to drop some information, the brother's open to any questions. If you want to come up and join the conversation and add in, with anything, you are welcome to do that as well. What I'm going to do is let's see if we can get you guys something, a song or something going. Take a little break for a quick 2 or 3 minutes while the brother switches over, and we should be all set. So let's put that out. Or actually, let me just wait and see if anybody wants to jump up. The brother actually went over so much information, guys. I like really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show with everything that he had to offer. We kind of made it general for the radio audience. A lot of the radio audience, they are not privy to, everything that we talk about. You guys that are all here, with us, that we're all bouncing around from different panels and different platforms, so on and so forth. So we kind of generally know each other and the information that we're putting out, right? But for the people that aren't privy to the information, they may be like, "What are they talking about?" It sounds crazy to people. You seen what happened with Judge Mathis. Thanks everybody for coming through. You guys showed out for me, and it was really, really appreciated. Chief Holiday, thanks for coming through, bro. Thanks for showing up. We had a pretty good show to get a good chance to go over everything when you were on because I had such a horrible connection. We'll definitely have to reschedule when it's time for your premiere so that we can, get that information out there. We want people to know about this indigenous information, guys. Since I've been in the YouTube, my information is generally about the things that are going on with the spirit, how the mind, body, and spirit coincide, how these things are being used against us. I know you guys don't believe that, don't understand it, but, there's so much being used against us when it comes to the physical things, and it actually playing part into what's going on with the lands and all of that, being that we are, part of this land. Just the damn land is made up of the same things that's made up that we made up of. The same thing that's made up in the sky, we made of the same things, but y'all know about the same damn components. All right, we got Truth back in the building, guys. Let's get him back in. He get back in before I can get this Bluetooth plug back up. Yes, brother. So I definitely want to I don't know, probably in another 2 weeks while the information's still a little fresh, we'll be able to about something a little more in depth. I know this was kind of last minute. I really appreciate it. I know that's why you weren't quite ready when we called you. But thanks for fitting me in. I really appreciate it because information was great. And for the people that aren't used to hearing any of this, you were able to make it clear and precise as to the small things. Maybe the next time we can tell them a little bit about the things that they can do when it comes to trying to get information about their history. I wanted to kind of talk about the those tests, brother, that people are like, oh, do my test, and I want to do this, I want to do that. Why do they think that is important, and the aspects of that, brother? What can you tell anybody that's listening to this or that will listen to this later when it comes to those tests? The DNA test and the all this stuff. What's your outlook on that?
Well, the first thing that I see when I see that is, what I always thought. People really don't know who their family is, because if they did, they wouldn't need that. You feel me? So it's all
Right.
part of all part of the grand scheme of things and shit. They know that they manipulated you so tough to believe what they already put out for you, that you would still have to come to them to even know how you even fit up in it, and they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you, that you come from West Africa, and you 30% this, 20% that, 40% that, even though the Human Genome Society, which is one of the foundations of how you do DNA studies, says that shit is virtually impossible. They're going to tell you part of like 10, 20 fucking tribes, even though they say that's virtually impossible. But you got 98 to 99% of everybody getting fucking 10, 12 tribes and like multiple percentages of this. And then you got some people, they telling them that they a percentage of this, a percentage of that, but they ain't got no relatives in that shit. How the hell are you 55%? Let's just pick a country. You 55% Gambian, right? Or Senegal, right? And this is your
Mm-hmm.
highest percentage out of all the countries they say you're a percentage of, right? How come you ain't got not one fucking relative that can show you from that? They got a section on the DNA test where you can go to and see actual family that you're genetically connected to. Now you're going to see some definites, and then they're going to start showing you some similarities, right? See, them definites ain't no way around it. You share the same blood with this motherfucker. Them similarities is just basically saying that, oh, you got a certain mutation on the gene that do this and that, but we all similar as far as genetics. That's not a definite. It's a difference between similarly to something and a definite match. You know, so right now, what you got in the court, as far as like, let's say we was in court, right? If I got definite evidence, right, we ain't gotta go to court, nigga, you gonna want a copper plea because you know I got it. If I got
Mm-hmm.
similarities, then now I'm coming in with possibility information, and now I have to argue that and convince somebody that that's what happened. But when the evidence is that, you ain't got to argue shit. The facts is the facts. And they know that is shit. And the fact of the matter is that these similarities everybody have as far as genetics go. And they know that shit. So it's like, what are we really playing here? Every haplogroup ties back to
Right.
one haplogroup. So if every haplogroup ties back to one haplogroup, why do you need all these haplogroups? They all come from the same. So these ain't nothing but
And
other tools to distract you and keep you lost down the rabbit hole of possibilities and what ifs and shit, instead of just dealing with the definite shit. That's it.
so sis
Right.
said the
The two
identical
twins.
twin, the test come back different.
Yeah, that's a fact. Two twins took a damn test and they test came back completely fucking different. And then they had an excuse for that.
Oh,
They had
are
an
you
excuse for
serious?
that.
That's
Yeah, they had an
crazy.
excuse for that. So that's, man, if you, like I tell people, you want to do genetic studies, right? Then follow mutations that is a definite. It can only be passed down. They don't want to, like I say, man, I'm gonna be pushing the
Right.
forefront on this, but they don't want to deal with that sickle cell, man. Sickle cell, that's probably the first real mutation. You would have needed that
Right.
mutation to happen because there was so much fucking malaria with mosquitoes and ticks. We hunt animals and shit. You're gonna come in contact
Mm-hmm.
with this shit. That you would have needed that mutation in order to survive, or y'all would have or y'all would have died out. So this
And
the
can you
shit
get
that.
into that, brother? What you were saying about that with that mutation? I think that was 2 days ago or yesterday. You were talking about that. What were you saying about that?
Well, when you
When
look
as far
at,
as that mutation,
right, when you look at the mutation on the chromosome 11, that's where sickle cell is found. That is on the chromosome 11. That's where the mutation happened at in that chromosome, right? This chromosome caused the mutation to help you to survive malaria. Now, any person in the real field of this shit, like the scholars that we look to for answers, right? You know, I just can't come up here talking out the side of my ass and shit. You know, I'm going to search
Right.
the people information who deal with this and blocking out their narrative. All I fuck with is just the evidence of this shit, because I know everybody got a narrative. Even the nigga that's pushing the narrative that I agree with, I block that shit out. I only want to deal with the evidence. That's it. The
Mm-hmm.
fact of the matter is,
Right.
malaria go back to time of existence. So at the moment of human existence, malaria would have been here. They all state that human existence would have had to evolve with malaria, and they're right. Your mutation evolved and formed your immune system, your genetics evolved and
Mm-hmm.
formed a mutation on it to protect you from. This is real evolution, not none of that monkeys to human shit. That shit is bullshit. That's some pseudo ass shit. And as a matter of fact, the fusion that they said happened to make this monkey into humans and shit
Mm-hmm.
was defective cells. They not even strong enough to even mutate, yet alone to have a fusion into a whole nother fucking species of motherfucking mammals and shit. So, you know, that shit is bullshit. You know, so with that being said, this mutation only happened once. It's not a recurring mutation. Now, it's some similar mutations that did happen afterwards, but you can tell who all has that shit. And these mutations is called co-inheritors of sickle cell. So that means that they came after the fact. You know, they're something like sickle cell, but they ain't. They cells ain't even sickle.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an iron deficiency and shit in a whole nother way to try to help them fend off from malaria. So, you know,
But
these,
sickle
you know,
means there's a
yeah, the red blood cells, your red blood cells is an oval,
it's a
and these
deformity.
right, these right here is sickle. The purpose of these sickles is to dry out and fight off the parasites of malaria. Because what malaria do is it get in your bloodstreams and it attack your red blood cells and it suck out all the oxygen. That's why, you know, you go pale, yellow, fevers, then eventually you die because your blood has been drowned,
Right.
been sucked out from all this oxygen. So these sickles and shit is what defends you from that shit. You feel me? You know, they say life started in Africa, but you still got millions of people dying over there from that shit to this day. You know, they try to say that, you know, we are African because of that, but we are the largest carriers of that shit. And some of them don't even carry the sickle cell, they carry the co-inherent one, the thalasium one. So that's not even sickle cell. So, you know, this is, you know, it's not a deformity, even though that's how they try to place it. Now, when you get a double copy of that hemoglobin, yeah, an anemia forms, which is called sickle cell disease now. And that is a problem because the problem is now you got too many sickles, blood cells flowing through your body and it's blocking out the flow of the shit. But when you just got the trait, it's a normal thing. You don't get sick or none of that type of shit. So and that's why inbreeding, um, it should be looked down on. You know, inbreeding is what
Right.
brings recessive genes. You feel me? And they open you up for
Yep.
all type of genetic attacks, immune system attacks. Um, you know, man. So, you know, this right here is a genetic stamp marker of the ancient ones. Because malaria been around that long that the ancient ones would have had to been the first one to get it. And like I
But it
say,
just seems like it would be it's like it would it being a mutation or a deficiency. I know what I hear what you're saying about it protecting, right? But wouldn't have anything to do with mixing of the races and
nah,
the mutation? You know, I don't know why that wouldn't have anything to do with that.
yeah, because the thing is that mutations have happen on your. Oh my bad. Were you talking? I'm sorry.
No, let me mute it. Go ahead.
Okay. So mutations. That's not how mutations work. Uh, Mutations happen when there is a stress on the environment that cause harm to the body. So what the body do is certain genetic, it sends out certain codes in the genetics and in the immune system that tries to fend off, and it forms a protective barrier. So a mutation will form as a defense against whatever is attacking it. So this mutation didn't form due to no mixing or no deformities or nothing like that. You had a particular thing in the environment that was hostile to the body that was attacking it, and that mutation had to form in order to defend itself. So actually, it didn't devolve; it actually strengthened itself. You feel me? So sickle cell is different from them other iron deficiencies. There's multiple iron deficiencies. You got 4 classes of them, but all 3 are co-inheritors of the sickle cell. The sickle cell is the first. And like I said, it only happened one time, and it was actually to strengthen you, not devalue you. To make sure that you can survive in the environment that you was in. Because without that mutation, you would just die.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would have died. It wouldn't be no human population without that. Because malaria ran rampant. It's not just in tropical hot climates. It has been proven they are in temperate climates as well too. As a matter of fact, in the 1830s, it wiped off. It almost wiped off a whole so-called Native American tribe. That's why I was shocked to see, like, damn, how did it wipe off damn near a whole tribe if these people was really from here? Because the origins of malaria is in the Americas. Even though it can be found everywhere around the world, the oldest, the 2 oldest, 1 and 2, is right here in America. And they both are the forms of malaria that can be passed off to humans. Like I like to call it the indigenous people worldwide trait. I don't really like to play the chicken or the egg, but if they really want to, it's enough evidence that show where the chicken and the egg came from. But we're just for
Mm-hmm.
value's sake say it's an indigenous people worldwide trait, because you do find it in other areas too, just not as rampant like how you do with us and shit. Like you find it in Africa too around certain people. I find it mighty funny. Is mainly on that West Coast. Um, and we do have migration that can prove people leaving here and going into the. Now, I'm not going to say that's how they got it or whatever. We're not even going to play that type of game. But as far as grouping of people, us, the American Negro, right, in North America, right? But if we wanted to, we can really add the Negroes in Canada, Central America, and South America, and the islands. But even without them, us here, we are the largest carriers of that shit. When you get into those other areas that I speak about, it will be American Negroes that are the carriers of that shit amongst these Hispanic populations, and the populations up in Canada as well too. So technically, it's still us. So nobody carry this trait or catch the disease more than us. The only reason why they giving Africa that shit is because they calling us Africa.
Understandable. So, welcome to the platform, Dr. Tenfoil, Coppertone. Thanks for joining us, brother. You had a question for Truth, or something you wanted to say about something he spoke on?
Nah, I gotta pay it for it. What's up, you YouTube, everybody chat panel, the 5 line builders. Hey,
Nah, bro. I'm more on that too. I need counsel because two minds think alike. I'm I carry the trait, so I it passes down to my girls. They have the trait. So what you were saying about it being from America, like I'm running across not so confident with it being from here, but South Carolina had they grew rice there at one time. So um what's your blood type? We know our car types of oil, but that's real deep, man. It's kind of leaning toward a migration out of America or abroad, but Africa was migrated into regardless. But that's another story. But that's a powerful one. Hope hopefully I'll be on your heels with groundbreaking content like that. See, that's different. See, that's evidence. See, other people being here that's saying that America, bro. I know that you seen that um Masonic PDF that says America came out of the water first. So if America came out of the water first trees. I mean, the rainforest is in South America. There will be birds. Some a brother said that something about a lot of the birds being from here, but then again, if America allegedly came out of the waters first, that makes the Amazon rainforest the lungs of the world. Let's get it.
Yeah, Louis Agassiz, the geologists, zoologists, pathologists, and shit, along with the rest of the ologists and shit in that field, already stated that America is the oldest continent on the planet. As a matter of fact, the exact quote they used was the first lands to submerge from the floods. Uh, this was their exact words that they used. So yeah, that's definitely a fact. But it was up in northern America where they made this discovery at. So everything else would have transcended down. Um, I mean, we you know we got the oldest truth mathematics. We got the oldest true calendar. Um, we got some of the oldest pyramids. We got the most pyramids, not to mention all the ones they destroyed in North America and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They
Hey,
destroyed them
All
and
been excavated.
Cahokia,
Lots of excavations
and
on the land.
Serpent Mounds, the Georgia Mounds, the Mississippian Mounds, Hopewell, Connecticut,
it's
the
amazing.
Carolinas, Mississippi,
Central.
Louisiana, Texas. You know, we just talking about North America. They destroyed them all. You know,
The
South
jungle,
America, all the monuments down there. They
the
just
jungle.
uncovered hundreds of ones that they found using sonar radar that they're still trying to get to now. I hope, motherfucking, we can get to get one of our own people down there in the mix of these studies because I got a feeling that they're going to do a nice cover. They're going to try to do a nice cover up and shit. Um, so man, we need people to start going into these type of fields and studies with these credentials to be able to start going doing some of these studies themselves and really getting to what is really being found because they're hiding a lot of even with what we finding, it's a lot more that's not been found and it's by deliberation.
Yes, yes.
Lil Yos.
What's going on, brother? Thanks for coming up. What's going on, brother?
Bliss, honor, and prosperity, everybody. Yeah, what's good, Truth? Appreciate you putting this together, Sister Soul. 10-4, bliss, honor, and prosperity. Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like when I was in boot camp in Chicago, like they did all kind of tests on us. They took my blood, and I found out, like a long time ago, I had sickle cell trait, and I thought that was kind of interesting because me finding out I had sickle cell trait back then, we couldn't make phone calls, so I had to write my mother. It was almost like we was in jail or something, like you just like flying a kite, as they call it in New York or something. So I had to like write my mother, and when I wrote her, she was the one that broke down to me that I probably got it from her. Now that's what literally led me on another genealogical adventure. I ain't even gonna lie to you, because I started noticing a lot of my family on my mother's side, they had sickle cell trait. Like on my father's side, none of them really had sickle cell. And the crazy thing about it is, when it comes to my father, like my grandmother, like their family, they're from like the Sea Islands of Georgia. They Geechee. And where I grew up at in South Georgia, like right outside Moody Air Force Base, in a little small city called Lakeland, which is Lanier County, there used to be this spot that my father told me it was called Geechee Row. And Geechee Row is where like a lot of the Geechees work doing like turpentine and stuff like that. Like if you know about the whole turpentine in the southeast woodland regions. But when it comes to my mother's side, you're dealing with like the Williams and plethora of different names, even the Rios or the Harris, which is related to the Catawbas. The one thing that I found out was that my family being from Indiantown, South Carolina, which is like a PD region in South Carolina, a lot of the people predominantly in that region at the time were the Chickasaw, and the Chickasaw is the name of the Chickasaw. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So like when you brought up sickle cell, yeah, man, like that's like a deep topic that nobody wants to discuss. And it's amazing how a lot of us or our family members have sickle cell trait, especially in the southeast woodland regions. So
Hey, how old your father is?
the information that you bring in on that, like that's shedding a whole lot of light as
Hey, when was
opposed
your
to that
father
whole
born, Lil
African shit.
Yos?
What's up?
When was your father born?
My father was born
Powerful.
You said my father?
Yeah,
Yeah, my father was born 1946. His
that's
father was
probably
born
that's prob
1900.
that's probably why you don't know about that side. They they just start testing to see if the babies have the trait in modern times. So
Yeah,
a person with the trait wouldn't even know that they have it.
yeah.
You feel me? They don't get no sickness from it or none of that shit. So
Oh
with him
no, the
being
only thing
born,
I do is get tired. Like I
right,
don't get no sickness. I just get real tired.
right. So with him being born back then, they wouldn't even know. You feel me? Because like I say, they don't get sick of no shit like that. So it's a possibility, it could have came from either side, and that side of the family
Hmm.
do got it.
Yeah.
Um, so I just, man, keep in mind that, man, that because they test the babies now to
Oh
see.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Definitely,
feel
definitely.
me?
Yeah.
And I think they started doing that around like the 60s or the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around the
Oh,
60s or the 70s is when they start actually doing the test every time someone was born, just to check a case, so that way they know what not to give and what to give
Hmm.
and things like that. You feel me? So
Right.
that's probably why you don't necessarily see it on your father's side like that, because they probably just don't even know, especially with coming from that region right there and shit. You feel me?
Yeah. Cause on my father's side, they're all like old blood. I ain't even gonna lie to you. They're all old blood. As far as like my mom's side, I don't know, but I ended up with B blood, which is kind of interesting because going through her matriarch, it all leads back to the Catawba, you know, through Grandma Harris, Henrietta Harris, and that's how we was able to put everything together because my um, mother's name is Henrietta. So my grandmother Prunella named her daughter after her mother, which is Henrietta, and they come from
Henrietta,
that line, man. So I always look
South
at the
Carolina.
matriarch
So
too, like you look at the juniors and the seniors and stuff like that, because you find a lot through genealogy that way too. But I appreciate it, man.
um,
I definitely appreciate the info.
hey, the Henrietta, Henrietta Lacks, me doing my root work, I found that there's a lot of um, just as the males carry names, the females, the women, when they could, they carried names that was similar, but Henrietta Lacks, that's Carolina still, but I'm thinking that I may be a little off, but Mother Nature, Mother's Land, the males came over like as like work and stuff like that. So if truth, like he said that what he sees that being originated from here, maybe the women had it because like my mother, she don't know, but I gotta get on and start asking, but because our history was kind of jolted because of different factors. But you saying Lakeland, Georgia?
Yeah, Lakeland, Georgia, which is Lanier County, because you got a Lakeland, Georgia, and then you got like a Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah, I'm from Lakeland, Florida. Hey,
Let me say
I
real quick,
yeah
much love to the family. My bad, Capitone. Much love to all the family. Much respect to
Welcome to the
everybody.
platform, Big Philly.
Yeah, I just want to
Yeah,
come up
bless
for
up,
one
Big
second. I'm
Philly,
gonna say my little spiel, and I'm gonna jump down.
the OG.
First, I want to give you and everybody their praise, but you and Truth, I respect you and what you and Truth have been doing for the community. You know, I respect you, sister. We both deal with herbs, but I just wanted to give y'all two,
Appreciate you,
my,
brother.
my young soldier, Truth,
Yes.
his praise also and love because I love what y'all doing for the community. And I just wanted to let y'all know, keep doing what y'all doing. I got y'all back. To all of y'all, man. All of us that's fighting for the right thing of freeing ourselves from this system. I'm fighting with you. I love y'all and I respect y'all. So I plan on doing interviews with a lot of y'all on my channel. I just wanted to give y'all some roses while y'all was still here. I love y'all and much
I
respect.
love you too, OG, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, much
You
much
already
love,
know,
OG.
bro.
Appreciate you too,
Yeah.
brother. Thank you so much. Love you too. Much love.
Yeah, I'm going back in the chat. I just thank you and wanted to give y'all roses. Thank y'all.
Thanks for coming up. Thanks for coming up, Big Philly.
Y'all still there?
So yeah, like he said, yeah,
Yeah, I
brother.
had my mic
I
on mute.
think
I'm about to mute
I'm
again.
listening to it a little bit. Yeah, so with that, bro, you know what? I want people to understand with that changing earlier when you were talking about that social security card and that birth certificate, how that played into that names. If, unless I misheard you, were you mentioning something about the names, bro, with the them switching and taking over the names and things of that sort?
oh
No,
me
I don't think we got up into nothing like that. But I mean, we can.
Okay, that
Uh,
okay. Maybe it's because I wanted to ask about the about the Social Security. I want to see what you thought about that when it comes to that with the names and stuff, and how they
well,
did
I
it
think
by
it's just
bringing in that Social Security department and the
right. I mean, it's just basically another form of identifying a person as a citizen. You feel me? And that was their greatest trick of it all. You know, man, they convinced us to want to be citizens and shit, and we got more than what the fuck we asked for.
So when it
Uh,
come to that, when it come to that, because of that certificate and because of that Social Security card, it's kind of easy to say, well, I really don't want to be a part of this system since I was tricked in that into that, and since y'all told me that I was supposed to do this or have this done this way, my mom didn't know any better, so on and so forth. What I want to do now is come up out of that. Is it ways to not be a part of that? That's easy to do, nothing that's weird or hard. It's
yeah,
just simply saying I don't want to be a part of that because like I'm
it's people that give information on that. Me
going.
myself personally, I don't. You know, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Um, I don't give nobody no information as far as that type of shit right there go because that ain't my lane. And I hate for someone to take something that I said and when
Okay.
applied in a certain way and it went wrong for them. And now they looking at me like, damn, this nigga Truth gave me some bad fucking
So you're
info.
more on his
I'm more just, yeah, I deal more this just straight with the historical
fact.
evidence. Now I'm into the genetics, but also with your family. You feel me? Who your family said is. Now I deal with
Um,
business. I deal with business, but as
Right.
far as
Okay.
like status corrections and stuff like that, like nah, that I got
Mm,
info on that, but I keep that to myself. I don't share that with nobody because I want, like I said, I won't want to
okay.
get nobody no information on that. And then something went wrong for them, and now they looking at me like I deliberately gave them false information. You feel me?
I
Or
would
messed
say,
them up, so on and so forth.
I would say that to answer that question, I seen in my people, my ancestors, that some of them didn't take the social security number until the 40s and 50s. So whenever it first came out, it had to
Right.
been some people feeling like, nah, man, I ain't taking this. So they held off as long as they could. And when your ancestors die, their social security numbers pop up. So all I found out that my mother's mother that we have no knowledge about, just as far as that she had my mother and a little bit more, that me doing my root work, I she she lived in Alabama, Florida, Leesburg. I didn't know that, but found out that she was born in Georgia because the Social Security numbers after they died, they have the state abbreviation on it. So to answer your question, there must have been people holding other people down, but that makes sense because the love was more unconditional then. See, it's conditions to love now. It peaks out and all. That's for everybody. The blood was thicker then. That's for everybody. Victims and prey. Let's get it.
Let me go to.
Oh, and the social security number, that's another aspect on it. I ain't gonna give nobody nothing to go do it. I'm just saying, hey, there's man, there's different ways to look at it. Another way, yeah, we all citizens. You gonna pledge a allegiance to something, or you're a terrorist type. But the social security number, when it deals with citizenship, that's another number to see on how many citizens. You know what I'm saying? It is, but it's tied to the stocks and bonds. That's not only for all of the natural resources, that's for the human resources also. Don't they trade wheat, wheat, barley, and all that? They trade silver, gold, platinum, and all that. They trade you on the stocks and bonds too. Your birth papers and that slave number. Let's get it.
Is this
Yeah,
better, guys?
yeah,
I had
that's
to
that's
turn this
that's
phone.
definitely something that we have to dig into because I didn't do a whole lot of research on the Social Security Act itself, but I know from prior research that I want to say it was like either around 1936, the U.S. Supreme Court. I want to say it was either 1935 or 1936 when it came to the Social Security Act. They were trying to declare it unconstitutional through McKinley and Phrase. I'll just have to go back and look through the information that I have because I've been doing a whole chronology set on different acts, and the Social Security Act was one that came up in one of the Word documents that I do have, and it
Okay.
does break down a whole lot of information. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Hey, bro. Okay, okay.
Mm.
Act. Don't every
Uh-huh.
act they get to break the piggy bank. Huh? The Patriot Act after the towers fell down, that delivered Big Brother. The CARE Act. Huh? The 1500 that everybody, imagine, everybody, bombs and all, they tapped into that piggy bank, huh? Give you pennies on the dollar while they tell you that they in Congress sessions for whole days trying to battle how much
Mhm.
to give you. It ain't in their hands. It's in the ones that fund them. Let's get it.
I just went
Yeah.
back and looked it up. What it was through the Supreme Court. They were talking about raising the possibility of the Agricultural Adjustment Act. It was an Agricultural Adjustment Act in 1936. So that raised the possibility that the Social Security Act might also be declared unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
So it was
ooh,
going
Say
ooh.
that.
into, so
Say
now
that.
now that's involving land. So now we getting somewhere.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Ooh,
Let's
okay,
get it.
bro. Oh, okay, now that's 2 years after the executive order that mandate that made all of the citizens give up the gold. In a gold shortage, it's a shortage for you, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
gain for them. Let's get it.
Yes, because when they took all of Mary Ellen Pleasant's money, not money, her gold, this is how they tricked her, and this is how they got all her gold by starting the Federal Reserve. They probably plotted the whole damn thing to get all her gold. Oh, Miss Pleasant, listen, we got this. You don't need to be lugging around all that gold. You don't want nobody breaking your house, do you? Now, if they come on and break in your house and take all your gold and kill you, you'll be dead. What use is gonna be to you then, ma'am? Why don't we just put it in this bank right here? When we put it over in here, we're gonna give you here this money and see each one of these dollars. This one 100, this one a five, this go for this amount of gold. Cause see, they had the silver certificates and the gold notes then. See, this was different. So when you take it here and go to the bank, it's easy for you to carry it around, this, and that. She was like, oh, okay, everybody's doing it. Then a little bit after that, what good old President Roosevelt do? Everybody go. If you got gold at home, turn it in. I don't give a dang if it's your wedding band. We need all the gold. Everybody went turn. They collected everybody's damn gold. What the heck did y'all take everybody gold for? Nobody had gold, and they just did it again. More recently, what, 15 years ago? Cash for gold, cash for gold. Everybody's like, "Woo, let me go take my scrap gold in." Man, come on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, y'all. Y'all get it.
Okay, so all of that is a LLC because the other side of the Constitution, there's supposedly two constitutions, just like there's two capitals. Philly is for the man, Washington D.C. is for the corporation. So when that was founded, in order to sue or be sued, you had to be a corporation. So the birth papers and the social security numbers are a yes. It is a fake entity. It is artificial, but it is a LLC. Huh? A LLC is to protect
That's
the
right.
person from your business. Huh? It's supposed to be separate. Huh? The public
And
don't know
shit, when they
about the
need money,
private.
they got insurance
Huh?
on it on you. Shit. If they need say if they need some money right now, oh my business is failing.
Everything has
This,
a
this and
policy
that.
on it.
We're corporate. If we're a corporate, right? And if they need some money for somebody for something, right? All they need to do is cash in on somebody's birth certificate. They just have to
Yeah,
cash it in, get rid of get rid of the body, get rid of this person, kill him off in the street, have the police shoot him up. Oh, they locked up in jail. It's four of them over here locked up in jail. With this one, they under the same stock and bond because see, all the social security numbers go with the state. Your social security number, the first three digits, it lets you know and it ties you into what state that you was born in, and this goes into what corporation you under. So now they're able to say, oh, we need this many people from over here. Okay, let's kill off 30,000 people in Chicago. This a big ass damn state. So we get so much money for each one of these bonds. Boom, we cash it. Man, shit, don't get me started on this nonsense. They've been doing this shit
yeah, but
forever.
everybody gets paid from it. So the in the delivery ward, the head surgeon of the hospital, like the CEO, he gets a bonus. Everybody, every delivery in their wards, they get paid. And you is right. It
Hmm.
leaves you trade in the birth record for a birth certificate, and then they get it. It goes to the state, and then to the Department of Commerce, and then to the Treasury, huh? And then beyond, huh? Let's get it.
Uh-huh.
The first like when it comes to like government agencies, and I mean me just being prior Navy and knowing like with my blood and everything, the first identification that they were using was your fingerprint. That's your first biometric, was your fingerprint. But they had to find another way to identify us. So the way
That's
to
right.
identify us was through Social Security, and also another way that they were able to identify us was through the EIN, which is and what was it? EIN is what, like the employer identification number, because
Yeah, yeah, that's
most
like the
immigrants that
business
come
social
into the
security
U.S.
number.
they already have a national ID number from the region where they're from, and see that's going into the Department of State. And when you're dealing with the Department of State, you're dealing with a lot of visa waiver programs. So you got like foreign student exchange, you got diplomats, you got like all these different levels and classifications of visas with people
Right,
coming to the U.S. looking to get legal permanent residency, or LPR status as they call it. But just
right.
going back to the early 1900s, it's just ironic how the government was using these processes, then they turned around and used it on, just natural people living in both incorporated and unincorporated territories. And like I said, we were all doing agricultural work. Most of us were doing agricultural work before that whole great migration. So it kind of sums up how they were able to track us and put us in this system when we were out of the system. But this was a way for them to implement us into the system, beknownst to us. So most of
Okay.
us literally voluntold ourselves into it, not knowing what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
So it really came into head after the United Nations, huh? Huh? All certain countries became corporate. Everything became
Yeah.
corporate. All of the country names are corporate names, and they have visible lines around international waters, huh? It's always
Hmm.
about law, land, air, and water. You can win a race on land, air, and water. You can also get shot down on land, air, and water, huh? That's
Hmm.
law, huh? Let's get it.
Mm-mm-mm. What you think about that, True? with a little more elaboration. Oh, maybe the brother done got off. But yeah, so I know that's very important. And I remember back some time ago they had where they were people were getting some money off of their birth certificates if you knew how to play that system. Do you remember that, brother? I know y'all remember that. Everybody in the hood should know that. They had the birth certificate. If you had your birth certificate and your social security card and you had these particular digits based off of the letter and the state that you were born in, you can get some cash off of that. And some people got in trouble and some people didn't. Some people just got away with it and was paying bills, cars off, all kind of stuff. Do y'all remember that?
I think, yeah,
Do you remember when that
my,
a couple of years
my,
back?
mine is in, I mean, mine is in the Chicago area. So every treasury has a IRS, huh? Every piggy bank. So every piggy bank has a accountant to it. So the
Mhm.
accountant is the IRS and the piggy bank is the treasury. So the ones that got away with it did the righteous thing with it. The ones
Mhm.
that didn't do right with it, see, that goes back to
Why they
anything
got
you
messed up?
do, you got to have morals
Mhm.
with it because the same thing, you can hit the lottery, bro. It's a person that won the lottery here that it kind of made national news. He is not no longer here because he won the lottery and then got around wrong people. So
Yeah.
basically, if he wouldn't have won the lottery, he would have still been here. Huh?
Right.
It's a secret. It's a secret society. All we ask is trust. The game is to be sold, not told. Certain people don't tell you things because you ain't been vetted yet. There's a secretary. All secretaries of all states and countries keep secrets, huh? Let's get it.
They have done this for so long, but with that, they have
No,
like,
I haven't left. I ain't got a phone call. I'm sorry.
okay. Bro was like, nah, nigga, nah. But no, that was that dang. So you didn't even hear what they were saying, bro. We was tapping into the Social Security and the birth certificate thing. I want to get your opinion on that. Hold on, I'll be right with y'all, brother.
Hey, but every
Yes.
country has a CIA, huh? In London, huh? The what? The fucking M5, huh? The CIA is the top dogs, and all of the major countries have a major get down and dirty, and even the fucking religion sectors have they fucking hit squads and shit. Let's get it, huh? The ones that got to go out and keep the intel under certain clearances, huh? Let's get it.
Yes, yes. They have
So,
multiple
my bad.
buildings. Oh, go ahead, brother.
So, hey, it's nation. Hey, you got to be the whole thing. So you got to take the same process, the same road, huh? You got to be a rebel, huh? And then you got to be militant, huh? Out of being militant becomes militias, and then military comes from militia, but all that becomes from militant. So, hey, the way this thing set up, you know what I'm saying? We want all that, boy. We got to go keep kind of the same measures. I mean, get it overall, and overall, it's certain people that could handle certain things. We ain't all one thing, but we are all everything. Let's get it.
What's your thoughts on that, truth? I want to hear your perspective. I was wondering if had any thoughts on that when it comes to those cards really tying into that stuff like that. Oh, he probably still on the call. Okay. But anyway, yeah, bro. So I remember that vividly because it was like you said, it depended on what they was doing. I had some people paying. One of my people I knew had did something with their mortgage. I don't want to talk too much about it, but just putting it out there. Shit, it could be anybody. But yeah, they had some very large bills paid, significant things paid. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them, it was nothing. What could they do about it? It was their shit. So I guess it would depend on what you were doing or how you were doing. Can y'all hear me? I know I stepped outside for a
Yeah,
quick minute, but
yeah,
oh, okay.
no,
I just wanted, it sounded dead as hell.
all I don't want to call you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you good, bro? Go ahead, go ahead. I think truth on another call or whatever.
I mean, answer. I mean, ask it again. I'll try to answer. Shouts out to the chat. Let's get it.
No, no, no. I was trying to
Panel,
get
let's
his
get it.
perspective on that because
Oh, okay. Okay.
okay, let me say it
Yeah.
like this. To me, all of this shit is all of the same thing, all around the same time. It's like it was a plotted plan, obviously, for this, and that. Oh, what can we do to get this? What can we do? How can we do this? How can we do that? Okay, boom. If we get all these people to go, boom, we're gonna say this, and that. We're gonna act like this. We're gonna take this history, we're gonna turn this around. This, that. See, truth know a lot of history stuff. So when it comes to these timelines, see, I'm not really good with remembering like dates and different things. Even just like the lady, I could barely remember her name, Mary Ellen Pleasant. And that's like a common, thing to remember this lady name because she was the richest damn woman, period. So if she was the richest woman ever, like back then, this lady had 400 and something $1 million worth of gold. And that's back then. So we talking like trillions of dollars worth of gold. So she had all this gold and these people took all this woman shit. I mean, and then they done formulated and made this whole damn everything off of it. Made this fake ass money and took the gold, did whatever. What y'all did with the shit? Where's the gold? Where is all these people's gold at? I mean, I'm just saying all this stuff. I'm just trying to look at the history and the timelines of how they was doing certain things, or
Legendary
where
country.
this happened
It,
with this, or how they was able to get away with doing the shit. Where did they have transported the gold? Because they got all these lies and saying that the money was this. They'll get more money, make more fake ass money, and say, "Oh, this was lended off this," and blah blah blah. You ain't lend shit because you never had the damn money and you never gave shit. So y'all getting two or three times the money off something that's not
they
even
just
there. And it's the same
shipped
thing
it
here with
out. I
gold.
mean,
Everybody
they
was trying
got
to
it,
get their shit.
and then the other countries got it. So it's gold that never moves. It's just there. It's there, and every country is waiting to call each one of others bluff. Nixon called all they bluffs in 71. So it disappears, and then your blood, sweat, and tears, our blood, sweat, and tears replaces what the dollar was back behind. The dollar was back with gold, but during the 70s, even in the 70s, with that gas crisis, the U.S. became Saudi Arabia's war daddy, and then they got back in the game to make the dollar do what it do. The more we use the dollar, the inflation goes higher and higher. So we work harder and harder while all the cost of living continues to go up. The dollar continues to go down until they got a number. They know when when that dollar reaches this, we gonna shut that bitch off, and then that's part of the last of the great restart, and then they gonna push you into the digital. They needed the damn near 2 years ago, huh? And the CARE Act again, but gotta think, huh? Let's get it.
That is the fact. Lil Yost, you gotta get off, brother. Appreciate you for coming up. You had anything to say before you jump off, brother?
Now, I just want to say thank you to you, Sister Soul and Truth. Definitely thanks for answering that question for me, because I'm gonna look into it and see if I have sickle cell trait on my father's side as well. But I'm gonna hop back into the chat so anybody else can come on and ask truthful question.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. You have a great one, okay?
All right, much love to y'all. Blessings.
Yes. So yeah, so thinking about the timelines of how they transpired everything, and even to if they didn't have the luxury of her gold and those resources, right? A lot of the stuff they did, they wouldn't have been able to do. They could not have excavated our lands, rebuilt over our stuff, put all these lies and indoctrinations, create all these books and stories and fake ass artifacts. And let's not even talk about all the shit they do. If we would not have been um tricked and deceived out of our true resources. And they take all of the true resources, everything that's natural, food and life and our energy, and like you were just saying, when it comes to, working jobs in these corporations. So the recycling, the recycling of our energy, because once it's recycled, they're continuing to use it, and we're not even reaping any type of damn benefit off of it. Like you said, it's like the blue collar worker, and they got you by the collar, still got you on the damn chain, the chain gang. They got you by the collar, so it's the blue blooded from their perspective that's sitting up here, and you're working to continue to pay them each week or each month for these bills by the other blue blooded, which is usually their family, they cousin, because they all in the same realm. All of the ones that control everything that you paying to live on something, they all got the control over it. But we are all the partakers of the true land, the real original beings. And here we are being the ones being taken advantage of and being used and recycled continuously on our own shit. The nerve of these damn people. I don't know. I don't know what people gonna do about it, but that shit getting old. It's like so old.
Yeah, I ain't want to hold it. Um, they know. Um, they're the step parents, so they know, but the traditions and everything, the all of the prosperity that has happened under their watch, all of the good,
Yeah.
um, equals to trophies. So it's hard to get over that collectively. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I ain't gonna take over this show, man. Hey,
So yeah, brother, it's been a nice little build, about 2 hours here. I really kind of interrupted Truth. I guess he was doing some other stuff, but he kind of last minute came up here to go over this stuff. We're gonna do this again because it was really informative. I appreciate you jumping up too, because you already know we always kind of vibe off of the information. I was trying to tell Truth about this. I wanted to hear his insight on the Social Security and the birth certificate, because it a lot of this history and the war and all this stuff had to do with this. So deceit and conniving of people and taking things from us, a lot of that have to do with things that they needed to probably get out of debt with, and you know what I'm saying, all kinds of things. But yeah, we'll kick it on
hey,
another
hey,
conversation and the rest of that
hey,
another time.
see, that's that's what, like, I'm willing to.
Hmm.
I'm 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 a I'm a Gemini, so I'm dealing with myself. I'm raw, but I'm willing to dumb down or do whatever it takes to work with the different communities. I don't know shit, but I try. But it's all lot. I mean, it's all there. We just have to get over our egos and shit, and just work with one another more. The different, the different, the different communities. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, it is different communities. And you know why? Because that's a part of the separation, brother. As long as people are thinking that they're a part of this or a part of that, how can people come together when they're, oh, I got to stick with my people,
I,
you
I,
know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's half, it's half and half with that because like our life experiences is our best master teacher. So all of us ain't this, all of us ain't that, but it's house and field nationals that
Yeah,
it takes the field to build any house or farm or anything, and everything comes from the field.
that's right.
So
We are, and
there
we are the
needs,
field. That's the
yeah.
problem.
So
That's the problem. The
there,
foundation, bro, listen real quick.
mhm,
The
yeah, my bad.
foundation. No, no, you good. I'm just saying, before I forget this, just came to my head when you were saying that. The foundation, because we are the land, right? We are, we're the earth is a part of us, we are connected to this, but people not realizing that or understanding or understanding that, seeing the perspective of the power or everything that we have within us just because we are, these people. We are earth and spirit people that have been here forever, our ancestors, these cells, all these genes within us, everything that ignites whenever we get a little bit more influential in our mind, or it actually is able to be more enlightened, and some of that information comes through because this is information that's actually in our cells. A lot of people aren't aware of this, and this is why they keep having these blockages. They're not getting, having clear things that are presented to them, or even being able to stay on the right track or get on the right track, because they don't understand the forces they fighting. It's not just the physical stuff. Even like you said, the different communities, people think it's separation and difference because they're fighting different battles, and most of it is behind something, on the physical, the lands, the this, the that. The Moors always want to argue about, oh, this, and that we was here for, all this stuff, and it doesn't even matter. We're all of the same people, the same kind. The ones that aren't, mixed up, and that is part of the whole divisive plan. Not so much only dividing each other, but dividing us from ourselves, making us not even be in tune with our spirits, and we're so focused on everything that they want us to be focused on because it's all part of being caught up in this physical, and these things kind of take us away because we can't even be focused on what's going on with our past ancestors and this, and that. If we don't even know our own truth, you don't even know what you're standing in because you still caught up in eating the wrong foods and reading the wrong stuff and listening to the wrong things. All these things that are transforming your mind into and putting you into the place where they want you to go. Just this shit, this dude, this crazy ass nut builder, the meta world. People living in a damn meta world shit every day. This ain't nothing new. They just they mind so in tune into everything they see on the news they believe. Everything people put out in these songs or whatever, they playing them every day, all day, listening to this nonsense, being a part of everything that has nothing to do with evolving their life or bypassing any of these things. Still being caught up in some of the same things that our ancestors were caught up in. So now they can't bypass any of those things because they still got those strongholds on them. Getting caught up and manipulated. Our men, our black men, they don't know how to be faithful, this, and that. They dip and they cheat, and they got these people, entities that, oh, I'm believing that type of stuff. Shit, you got a demon on your throat. Oh, she done put a root on me. It ain't just a root. Shit, it's a whole bunch of shit done got put on you. And it's put on you because these people are dealing with people that deal with these type of things. And they don't even be doing. I'm like, oh, she's so cute. Oh, look at her booty, this, and that, whatever. I'm just gonna lay with her. Then I'm gonna go back home. This, and that. Somebody to put something on you that you can't even get off you. A spiritual binder. I mean, it be, man. I don't even want to get into that
Yeah.
because I'm gonna get off subject because this was about the Aboriginal, but yeah, brother. I just wanted to say all that because I think that's important. We got to really be, be in tune to who we are and how powerful we are. And this is why it's so easy to manipulate us because we're fighting against this AI. They trying to transform us into something that we not, something that's unnatural. So yeah, it's a lot. But what you got to say about that, bro? I'm gonna end this real quick because I want people to hear this, get this information from Truth, and see what was going on with that. But you had anything to say before we get out of here? Oh, hold
Yeah,
on, brother. I gotta grab it.
hmm
Give me 1 second, brother. Don't hang up yet.
yeah. All right. Um, um, our soul, our soul is made of the five elements, right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The duality on that is tangible and non-tangible. Imagine somebody put us together. It wasn't one God. Imagine you have body parts that you don't even need. You can take the tonsil out. I mean, certain parts. Doesn't a woman don't need a gallstone? That's one of them. So imagine they were done with early man. All that chroma the Neanderthal. I'm sorry, I may ruin somebody's feelings. Let me just say Homo sapiens. Somebody put us together to work. Even if it was under your family, your tribe, even if they wouldn't have took the land. Say if the Christian side wouldn't have took it. Or if they wouldn't have won the war or whatever, say the Islam side wouldn't have took it. If none of them would have took it, you still would have been working your
Hold
ass
it down
off.
for
There
me,
was
bro.
still skirmishes because there were territories. There was, you know what I'm saying? Over here in the Americas, co- there was a confederacy. So you had politics. So basic instructions before leaving Earth for the flesh is for copper tones to know everything they done lied to us about. Everything, I mean everything. Who's
Everything.
doing this? Let's get it. Peace out to the chat channel. Hey, that side, I didn't mean to ruin nothing.
You didn't
Let's
ruin nothing,
take
bro. What you
on.
talking
No,
about?
I ain't talking about you.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about the other side, the bigger side of the community. Hey, we can all put it together.
that's
Let's get
right.
it.
That's right. All right, brother.
Appreciate
I
you.
really appreciate you coming up. Thanks so much. Peace out to you. You have a good night, brother. Be safe out there.
All right.
Chat, chat, chat. Y'all already know I appreciate y'all so much. I had an awesome chat. All the family came through. We were able to go over some great, awesome information. Truth came through with some good stuff. He. Listen, we had a lot of open conversation with some things too. I wanted to dive a little bit more deeper into. He's gonna come back on in 2 weeks, guys, and what we'll do is we'll pick up the conversation from there because I definitely want to hear his input on the storyline. So I'll be able to maybe ask him about this prior to this, and he can maybe have this to break it down for us as far as my perspective and what he thinks about this timeline. Because when it comes to these people actually taking the gold from our people, right? And giving them these promissory notes, actually building their foundation, their fictitious, fake A corporated foundation off of the backs of our people, their resources. It's just pathetic. And I want to see how that played into when it came to the war and a couple of other things like of that nature. So, yeah. Shout out to Chief Holiday, Supreme Chief Holiday, Zoe Hustles, Tribe Ties, Big Dog Philly OG, DJ ZPE, Magical Minds, Chai Alpha, Moon Faye, Alexis, Kinsley Davis, Willy Nilly, Lou Aragrass Roots, He Who Is. There are so many other people. I can't go through the entire chat. But guys, I really appreciate everybody coming through. My girl Dee Dee Alexander.
Yeah, appreciate you guys for coming through. And yeah, make sure you guys are tuning in each and every Sunday and Wednesday to the main radio. I try to definitely have something, very good for you guys. Want to make sure I'm always putting out information. I don't like to just jump on. Sometimes I'll get on and, I'll talk about certain things. And it may be just something that's on my mind. I'm not, let me just jump and go live person, but I will if it's something interesting or something I feel that should be put out there. So just make sure you guys are tuning in on Sundays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to Sister Souls Talk About a segment on the main radio. All right, guys, y'all have a good evening. Be blessed. Have a good sleep. Soar to your highest heights. Great day tomorrow. And yeah, we out.